Jeez!
It's too late.
Hello everyone, I'm Simone.
And I'm Kevin.
And welcome to The Hero Within. Woo! Today we got a special movie review for you for X-Men Dark Phoenix, which just came out nationwide June 7th. And yes, we do have a report. So where does X-Men Dark Phoenix start in the MCU timeline? Well, the fact is it doesn't. So this is a very long historical thing, so I won't go into it. But basically, obviously, Fox owns X-Men. So there's been a separate timeline between X-Men and the rest of the MCU, which has belonged to Disney's Marvel Studios for a long time. However, now that Disney has acquired 20th Century Fox, we don't know if they're going to actually integrate the new class into the whole MCU timeline, but it would be interesting if they did, because a lot of times they did interact in the comics.
Alright, so let's talk about the action in the movie. How did you feel about that? Was it too strong, weak?
I thought the action was pretty good, but I also thought there was a little too much action. It was like all fighting, and there really wasn't enough plot. And I'll get to that later. But, I mean, you know, everything that, what I really liked about it specifically was the creativity that they used with people's powers that I wouldn't even think of. So that's the part of the action I liked the most. What about you?
I like the Magneto scenes, they were pretty dope.
Yeah, the part where he just crushes the part of the train, just like throws it away like a piece of paper.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Those are pretty badass. But you gotta really think about, I was like thinking about this while they were trying to hold the helicopter down between Dark Phoenix and Magneto. And the funny part about it that I thought was like, I can't imagine what that looks like in real life, where he's just like trying to like, you know, go backwards. He's like, you know, like it looks funny if you think about it, because, you know, they're not really doing anything, but in the movie they are. So I can imagine like people in the background probably laughing because it looks kind of funny.
Probably. So yeah.
So next we're going to talk about story. What do you think, Kevin?
It was average. Nothing's too special.
Wow. I was thinking you were going to say it was trash.
It was average.
Oh, okay. So that's an improvement. But yeah, so I thought the same thing. I thought it was average, like maybe a C. Unfortunately, with X-Men, they haven't been doing well lately. Since Days of Future Past, I think that was their last really good film. And I heard Apocalypse was bad. Unfortunately, I didn't see Apocalypse, so I might have missed a few things in this movie that might have carried over from the last movie.
Apocalypse was trash.
It was?
Yes.
Ah, terrible. Okay, so you know from there. Got it. Was there anything that was carried over?
Don't remember.
Oh, okay, cool. It was that bad. He doesn't remember. Yeah, it went too fast for me to care about Jean Grey that much. I mean, they had a lot of flashback scenes about, you know, why she is, you know, terrified of her own powers and everything else. And of course, she becomes more terrified as the story goes on. But it just really felt too quick. It just got into the story, but it didn't really have any parts where it kind of, you know, elongated the feeling of dread, which is really what you're supposed to feel for this character, dread and sadness at the same time, because this character is not only just terrifying as the Dark Phoenix, but also, you know, tragic as a person. So that was the only thing I didn't really care for. I felt that they saved the majority of their minutes for the final battle, which was pretty awesome, you know, really to think about. But I really feel like the film could have had at least 30 to 40 more minutes to kind of really develop that feeling of the audience earning that whole battle and, you know, the ending, which we all know because we've had an X-Men movie about it before and it was also just as bad. I thought this might have been slightly better because the characters were more interesting, or at least the actors were. So that's about it.
So let's talk about themes. Is there anything that you took away from this movie in terms of life lessons or whatever?
I did. I think the strongest theme that was emphasized in X-Men Dark Phoenix was the fact about what you do with your talents and gifts is what makes a difference of whether you're a good or bad person. And this had a lot of duality with even Magneto, right? So Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, you know, when she was younger, you know, she meets Charles Xavier and, you know, she's terrified of her power. She blames herself and everything. And he says, you know, he gives her, you know, an example of a pen as a gift and saying that you can do anything with that gift. You could, you know, write out beautiful poetry, or you can stab somebody in the eye with it, essentially, right? So he uses this as a metaphor for her own psychic powers and her own powers, telekinesis, etc., psionic powers. And he says what you do with that gift is what makes a difference, and you can do good things with that gift. And she does grow up to do good things up until that point in the story. So I think that's a really good life lesson to everybody else. Like, the things that you end up learning as you grow up, you can use it to do bad things, or you can use it to do very good things. And that's always your choice. No matter where you come from, no matter how bad your background is, you have the power to choose to do good things with the lessons you've learned. And I think that's really powerful. I mean, they even showed that with Magneto, which was a bad dude that ended up using his powers for good. You know, instead of doing the bad thing. I mean, he always feels his powers are for good, but he's always on the wrong side. This time he was on the right side. I thought that was cool.
Cool. And I'll say this too. I did like the reconciliation scene between X and Magneto at the end. That was cute.
That was. I thought that was. It came kind of full circle, didn't it? You know, at the end of, you know, X-Men 3, you know, the X-Men that we shall not name anymore, the Bryan Singer version, he does like play chess by himself because Charles Xavier by that point is dead. And so it kind of came full circle. I kind of really liked that they added that in, where it's like, you know, let's play a game of chess. And it really brings the nostalgia of like the old series back. So I thought that was great.
For sure.
So what about any last minute thoughts? Anything that you just thought was weird or you wanted to comment about?
I mean, it was just an average kind of movie. I mean, I probably won't see it again. One time thing. That's it. I mean, I love, like I said, I love the Magneto scenes. Those are dope. But other than that, didn't really get much out of it.
Yeah, I think like the few things I wanted to comment was, one, the acting was really, really good. It was very top notch. I mean, they have really good actors in there. They have James McAvoy, they have Michael Fassbender, they had Sophie Turner, and they all did a really amazing job to create the feelings in the scene. So I thought they did a good job. I just think that the other people that edited the movie and how they created the scene by scene portion didn't do them justice, in my opinion. I thought that they could have done better. The editing was kind of poor. Also, the physics was poor too. Like, I feel like that they did not look up anything for the science. The one thing that came up to mind specifically for me that threw me off was there are two scenes where there's two avionic, the type of
Aircraft, thank you.
There's two types of aircraft that exist in the scene. One is a helicopter, which is technically an aircraft, but that's a whole other point. A helicopter, and when you see the helicopters land, you see all the grass and the trees blow and stuff like that because the winds from the turbines, which makes sense because they're real helicopters in that scene. However, there's not a real SR-71 Blackbird, which is what the X-Men aircraft is modeled after. And so, obviously, you know, suspending, you know, the whole deal with the fuel and everything else for the SR-71 Blackbird, that's fine. So let's suspend that kind of fact, right? But the fact that it comes out of the basketball court and no trees are moving the entire time, it just comes up and blasts off, really blows my mind. And at the same time, when it just lands in the street, like, nobody notices this at all. Like, there's nothing happening. It blows my mind. That's a really, really loud, very large, very powerful aircraft. So I'm sorry, my militariness is showing up, and unfortunately, I'm just like, could you just make it slightly more realistic? Just slightly. I don't know.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was really the biggest comments that I had. But good job acting. I'm sorry that the rest of it was not so great around you, but I really hope that they continue the X-Men series and do better next time. I just don't know what they're gonna do with Jean Grey.
Me either. Guess we'll see.
Well, we'll see. You know, they did the same thing that they did last time, which was like, she's gonna just go off into the ether, and we'll never know what happens to her.
Yeah.
But you know, in comics, nothing ever dies.
Exactly.
Alright, that's all we have for today. What did you think of X-Men Dark Phoenix? Let us know in the comments below.
Yep.
Tell us your favorite scenes or the scenes that were the worst. And we'll comment with you. Also, if you enjoy our content,
You already know, like, comment, share, and please subscribe.
please.
Thank you.
And as always, continue to gain knowledge
Take action.
and
Be
be unstoppable. Yeah.